Michelangelo said, "I don't make statues. I find a big piece of rock and I liberate what was always inside." And I thought of that looking at this statue here in the healing garden of this young boy shoveling away. And that's a great metaphor for authenticity, core action value number 1. Because what it is, it's a process of knowing who am I when I'm being my best self, carving away those elements that are not consistent with being that best self, and liberating what's always inside, the meant to be you. And what are the cornerstones of authenticity? Number 1 is self-awareness, knowing who you are. And one of the things we do in our course is challenge people with questions that help you figure out, who am I when I'm being my best self? Like this one, what would you do if every job paid the same and had the same social status? That is a really good question. And if it's something different than what you're doing now, how can you either build a bridge from where you are to who you want to be, or bring some of that passion and joy from who you want to be or what your ideal job is into what you're doing now? Because when you think creatively, there are always ways to be more authentic right now in your current job. Second cornerstone is self-mastery. You have to manage your ego, manage your emotions, make sure that your ambition is authentic. We call that the iron triangle of false personality: ego, emotion, ambition. And if you're not managing those things, you end up being your own worst enemy. And again, we share lots of very practical tools for how do you not do that? How do you not become your own worst enemy? The third cornerstone is self-belief. So many people cheat themselves by settling for anemic dreams and goals because they don't think they're capable of more. They don't think they deserve more. And they settle for less than what they really want to achieve, what their authentic dreams, their authentic goals are. And one of the tools that we challenge people with, we call it the pyramid of self-belief. You build self-belief at 4 levels. Self-concept. What are the assumptions you make about how the world works? Self-image. What do you see when you look in the mirror? Unfortunately, most people look in the mirror and see less than what's really there looking back at them. And we challenge people to look in the mirror and not just see what's really there now, but look in the mirror and see the person you could be if you really were achieving your potential. If you really were living your values, who could you be? Self-esteem. Do you like what you see when you look in the mirror? More important, how do you prevent low self-esteem, which affects everybody at some point or another? How do you prevent that from being an excuse to not do the things you have to do to achieve your goals, to be the authentic, meant to be self? And finally, simply is self-confidence. Do you feel like you have the skills, the talents, the resources you need to become the person that you're meant to be? And if it's meant to be, if it's authentic, you have them. You have the resources you need, or you can find them. That's how you become authentic. And if you can become the authentic best self that you're meant to be, you'll be a better parent. You'll be a better professional in your job. You'll be a happier person. You'll do a better job of inspiring other people. And if everybody where you work can work on those questions, how do I become my best self? Your organization will do a much better job of serving its customers, your patients, your community, supporting each other. The reason we begin with authenticity as core action value number 1 is because I'm absolutely certain if you really work hard on the other values, you're going to be much more successful, much more quickly. If you don't start with authenticity, the danger is you'll be much more successful at being a fake much more quickly.